What's good, Knicks fan? Welcome back to another Knicks-ish post-game live. And tonight, boy, the Knicks go into Boston, fight all the way. Mikal Bridges turns TD Garden into his personal gym, dropping 35. Cat gives us 29. Josh Hart does Josh Hart things, but the Knicks still come up short, 123 to 117. And yeah, this one stings because it was winnable. Defensive lapses, points in the paint, and once again, another opponent shooting 55% on us. But it wasn't all bad. We got big news around the league. Major milestone for the Knicks. OG is right around the corner. So tonight we break down Jalen Brunson winning Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Gallinari officially retiring, and the Knicks leading the NBA with 9 40-point quarters. OG's return expected any day now, and we'll dive deep into what actually went down tonight versus the Celtics. Get in the chat, get your takes ready, because tonight we talk about it. Let's go, Knicks. Fraz is not here, so somebody got to do it.
Hit that intro.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives, I'm cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom back to melody rap. If they can put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic's ethnicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it. Welcome to Reset. Fuck the ball. Fuck everybody on the floor. When we stay on the finals, bring that same energy, nigga.
Yeah. Live and direct on your YouTube screen is your favorite Knicks-ish panel. I gotta start with myself, right?
Yeah.
He starts with himself. I am your host, the Spark Plug, T-Tom, and with the rest of the Knicks-ish panel, including but not limited to, I finally got that part right. You know what I mean? The first lady of Knicks-ish, Mrs. Knicks is in the building. And my boy, the infamous Knickerbocker Ave is in the building. You know what I mean? A little bit of maintenance we got to take care of. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. You know what I mean? Turn the notification bell to all. Make sure you hit that like button. Sharing is always caring. And if you got some time, stop by the Knicks-ish Shopify. You know what I mean? Go cop you some merch. And I don't know if I'm missing anything. I haven't done the intro in a while.
So, super chat.
Oh yeah, and bless the super chat. You feel me? Hit the super chat up, and we'll get to whatever you talking about directly. You feel me? And I think that's it. Yeah, Fraz need to be here, man. kind of throws the feng shui off when, you know what I mean.
It definitely does. When Fraz is here, Fraz brings that energy, and he brings like that, like that flavor, like that additional flavor, and it's like it's missing.
But yeah, shout out to people in the comments. It's hard to see on my phone. I ain't gonna lie. I was trying to do it. Yeah.
I hate that.
Oh yeah, haters gonna hate. He's a Heat fan. That's what he do. What's that? Letitia. If I said Latasha, my bad. What's good? Rodney, we see you. Yeah, I mean, appreciate you on the pull up. Yeah, it's a tough loss. The Spreewell. Spreewell was good, man. I was about to say something, but I changed my mind. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the comments, man. But yeah, tonight we take a bad one, I would say, because it was a very winnable game. We lose to the Celtics 123 to 117. I said it earlier, right? Very winnable game. Brought it we was down by as much as 18, and we brought it back to as close as 3 points, but could not get buckets and stops when we needed them most. Even though we had a hell of a game by Mikal Bridges, Cat gave us 29. It was a good game from both of them guys, but we still could not get the W. Panel, give me your opinions on the game, and was this loss more on the defense or shot selection late? Talk to me, Mrs. Knicks.
Frustrating because, like we say, show after show after show, the Knicks have not been consistent. And that showed in today's game. We started off really hot. Second and third quarter, we played like shit. And then fourth quarter, we pick it up again. But I'm really disappointed today because I did not want to lose this game. Well, I don't want to lose any game, but definitely didn't want to lose this game. I hate to do it, but I'm going to just do it. Jalen Brunson, I love you. We love you. We absolutely loved you. You're our captain. But 6 for 21, don't take no more shots. If you don't have it, don't force it. We have other guys. 21? Come on, man. You got to play smarter than that. And I know you're going to take it personal, and I know you're going to take responsibility for this, but we had guys that were cooking. And so you, our leader, our captain, need to feed them. Feed them. You're a point guard. Feed them. They cooking. Mikal was cooking. Cat was playing great. Josh played good. Deuce played good. We didn't need you to take 21. Feel like we gave up a great Mikal game today. You know what I mean? And yes, I think it absolutely came down to defense. We had poor shot selection. I think Brunson tried to force it a lot, but when you look at the numbers, it ended up being defense. They only took 2 more shots than us. Numbers almost are exact or very close, so it absolutely had to come from defense, which we talked about last show. They like shooting threes, and that's our weakness, and that's what it came down to. Now we got to bounce back tomorrow because I'm not taking an L to the Hornets.
Knickerbocker Ave.
Numbers are almost identical, but they didn't definitely feel that way when Boston was just taking 3 after 3 after 3. It just didn't feel that way. They took care of business mainly because they ran the break a whole lot better. They controlled the paint. And I mean, just look at that number, 56 to 42 points in the paint. Then you look at the following number right after that, fast break points, 25 to 11. And then, this key stat, where was the bench? The bench was, given we're down OG, we're down Shamit, but we've been that way for quite some time now. And you didn't get that production from anyone on the bench. Jordan Clarkson really didn't have it tonight. Gershon Yabusele, he started to pick it up, didn't have it tonight. Given, Brown played most of his starters heavy minutes, but I'm going to echo the same sentiment that Sis just said. When you look at what Jalen Brunson was doing, and he wasn't getting calls either. I'm not going to put it completely on Jalen Brunson. He wasn't getting calls. Even that last, there was a defensive play where he was taking a charge. They called it a blocking foul. And I'm like, but he was set. I'm not blaming this on the refs at all, but I'm saying, if you're not getting calls and you're not getting shots, then you need to pass the ball. You need to be a playmaker. You need to be able to, to see your teammates out there, have that excellent court vision that we all know that you're capable of having. And if you have to run the decoy, be that decoy. We kind of blew a perfectly good Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns night. You said it earlier, T. Josh Hart's doing Josh Hart things, and that's what we ask of him. That's what he does. But defense is key. Even when the numbers are that close, and we didn't lose. I mean, we only lost by 5. I think at one point we cut the lead down to 2, and we had a chance. But defense has been crucial in our success.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. You know, you both said a lot of truths there, right? I think overall in this game, the second quarter hurt us big time. We had a 10+ point lead going into the second quarter, and I ain't gonna lie, I took a nap. Like, I woke up at the start of the third, like, what the hell happened? What happened? Then I found out the second quarter we let was good. We let Brown go absolutely crazy. He need to go bald. I'm sorry to get sidetracked, but he need to just give it up, shave his head already, because that was on top of his head. It's disgusting. It's nasty work.
The league needs to suspend him for PEDs or performance enhancing substances.
Yo, bro. Yo.
Suspend that man.
Yo, bro. I'll say, that's gotta be PEDs. You go a ball like that, gotta be. But anyway, but that second quarter was nasty work. But when we go talk about, the end of the game, it was the inability to get defensive stops, but it also was shot selection. As much as I love Jalen Brunson, but he can get this work just like everybody else can. You feel me? Nobody is above getting his work. And tonight he sold us. Especially, it was a play. We down 3 points. Mikal is going absolutely ape shit. And Jalen Brunson put on the captain clutch cape when we didn't need it. We didn't need it. He did a whole bunch of dribbling and forcing the bet, and then to do the floater that missed, and it turned up to be 3 points on the other end.
Oh, you talk about that. You talk about when he started calling for that ISO, and then yeah, he should have got a call, but he didn't get it.
But regardless of the fact, is not what we needed from him tonight. He wasn't having that kind of a game. You feel me? Not even remotely close. But if you look at Mikal was having one of those games. Him as the captain should have known and been able to identify the fact that it's a close game. Mikal was absolutely cooking. If I can't get it to him, I'm getting it to Cat, because Cat got a good game going as well. And we're going to try to get the lead to 1 or tie it. And he just decided to take the shot. Now, I can say this now because it didn't happen, but if it was a tied game and it's the last shot of the game, absolutely, I want JB taking that shot. I'm not going to deny that. I want JB taking that shot. I'm saying that now. But if it would actually happen, maybe my opinion would be different. I'm man enough to admit that, right? But right now, if it was the last second shot, we tied, game on the line, I want JB taking that shot. But it was still like a little bit time left. It was a momentum thing. We had the momentum, and JB gave up the momentum in that moment. And that was very hard for me to see, especially with the game that he was having. Like, bro, just pass the rock, homie. You feel me? Right. And us not being able to get defensive stops. Another thing that I got to fault JB for, the idea was right in the fourth quarter when they were stunting on the switches with Brown. JB was right to be there, but he needs to stunt. To press up on Brown harder to stop the dribble. And then soon as the recovery comes from Mikal, he has to get out of there. He has to get out of there and get back to his man. Because JB's indecisiveness on the pick and roll, when he stunted and was he supposed to leave, led to a lot of those open 3-point shots. Because now we're doubling Jaylen Brown all the way out damn near half court with no way to recover. when really I know what the defensive strategy was because we used it last year. It was JB stunts and then slips back to his man. And JB was getting caught between, do I leave or do I stay to double? And then you got fucking no-name guys I've never heard before a day in my life making corner threes on us and icing the game. And we got a fucking naked mole rat getting offensive rebounds and putbacks. But I'll digress because it was about to turn into a rip. It was about to turn into a rip, but I'm not going to.
Itching. The button was itching. I'm like, it's about to
So, boom, 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 boom. Now, question to the panel is: Bridges had 35. Is this the version of him we'll see consistently, or was it just a hot night?
I think that was just a hot night. Usually, Mikal is tasked to leading the defense and and really clamping it down. He can score 20 in his sleep. That's we know that. For him to get into some kind of a shooting rhythm where he was 8 for 12 behind the arc, I don't see that happening consistently, and I think that he will agree with that. But I honestly feel that he's capable of doing that more often than not. But I just don't see him doing it consistently. I mean, will he have a couple of more of those games this season? Absolutely. I think that the way the system is designed, it really favors him tremendously. And on those nights where he just has that that 3-point shooting rhythm and he's just feeling it, he can put a 40 on a given opponent. But do I see him doing it consistently? No. But without a doubt, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'll say it again. Mikal Bridges is an all-star.
I agree, and I think he may, if he keeps, especially on both ends of the ball, we might see that happen this year. Mrs. Knicks.
Can he do it consistently? I would say yes. Do we need him to do it consistently? I would say no. I think, Mikal has been, to me, the most consistent Knick thus far this season, whether it's giving us 12 points, 30 points, 35 points. He's given us whatever we need night in and night out all season. And so, tonight we needed 35 from him. Tomorrow we may not. And so, that's a tough question. Can he do it? I think so. He did it with Brooklyn, right? He led a whack-ass Brooklyn team. So can he do it with the Knicks? I absolutely think he can, but we don't need him to. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about Mikal is that he never forces it, right? Like he does whatever needs to be done for in that moment, in that game. So that's that. And I'll end it with, because we ain't nobody say it yet, fuck all them 5 picks.
Fuck 5 picks.
Fuck them picks, man. My boy Mikal. You know what I mean? I agree. I agree with Mrs. Knicks. I think this is something that he could do consistently. Do we need him to do it consistently? Obviously not, right? But if it need be, Mikal could be a 20-plus point scorer per game if we needed him to do that. Sis already mentioned his time in Brooklyn shows that he could be that guy. But it's going to be nights where we're going to need the Mikal to put on his cape, and like tonight, he's very capable. I just think in times when it's time to close the show, JB, especially on nights that he don't have it, have to be more willing to let Mikal close the show. Because, I've watched some of those games when he first got to the Nets, and he closed out quite a few games for them. You know what I mean? In clutch moments, and you just got to let him do it. And he showed that tonight because he came up clutch tonight. But when we got close, the ball wasn't in his hand in the time that it needed to be in his hand. But
I think it wasn't in his hand at the right time because that last three he took, he forced it.
Yeah.
And he should have, the Knicks should have let someone else bring it up, let him set behind the 3-point line like he been making them. But I guess he figured the previous play, JB did what he did, and he probably wasn't going to get that ball. So he was like, fuck it, I'm hot. Let me go for it. But that's not his shot, right? Like, he's not that pull up, just go for it guy. But I ain't mad at him. Like, when you 12 for 17 and 8 for 12 behind the 3-point line, I ain't mad at you.
Facts. You kind of get that green light to do that. So next question is, did the Knicks miss OG's defense tonight specifically in this matchup, Mrs. Knicks?
For sure. For sure. I think just defending someone like Jalen Brown is tough for anyone, right? When we're short, one of the best wing defenders that can, maybe have played those plays differently, and it would have maybe been OG and Mikal trying to psych him out at the end instead of JB. Or we would have been able to have someone, let it be the way it was, but then we have another strong defender to rotate. I think OG rotates really well on defense, and we were missing that. So yeah, absolutely was missed. Next week can't come by fast enough. It feel like we've been missing him way too long.
Not for sure. Like a bucket ass.
Obviously OG Anunoby was missed today. Mrs. Knicks hit it on the she hit the mark on that one. OG and Mikal, because of their size and their wingspan, they're able to cover a lot of ground when you have guys like Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown. Look what they were able to do during the playoffs, and look at how it is now. Now you don't have. Jalen Brown really couldn't do shit with OG Anunoby. Except sweat, that black stuff off of his jersey. That was the only thing he could do. Jalen Brown is overly talented, and you're not gonna be able to lock him down completely. But if you can be a deterrent, if you can be a pest, if you can be something, to the degree of a pest, and make life difficult for him, they can then become a factor defensively and make the other team's offensive player ineffective. Because now you're killing more time off the shot clock. You have to think quicker. You have to, hopefully guys would have to open up in the corner or set up or have to create shots and opportunities in passing lanes. So OG's definitely missed. He's absolutely missed. And it's great news to hear that, he's that the prognosis that I think December 7th is probably when he's due back. So it's in due time.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a little while. But did we miss OG? Absolutely. But Nick Bagay, you said you're not going to be able to lock Jalen Brown down completely. Yes, you can. We have. Yeah, as talented as he is very stoppable when he's not allowed to use his physical strength over whoever's defending him. And that's what OG Anunoby brings. Yeah, not only his defensive prowess, like his defensive ability, he's strong. Jalen Brown can't outmuscle him. He can't just move OG Anunoby like he could move a Jalen Brunson, because that's what really happened tonight. The first quarter, when Mikal was allowed to defend Jalen Brown, he didn't really have a good first quarter. I think he scored like 4 points in the first quarter, and he was like 1 for whatever. I can't remember the stat, but yeah, then when they started mismatch hunting, getting JB in more pick and rolls and switch situations, that's when he started to go downhill. and started attacking the smaller defenders that was put on him in switches. But he's absolutely able to be locked down. I've seen the Knicks do it. OG was missed because his size and his strength, not only his on-ball defense, his off-ball defense. I can't remember who said it, but one of y'all already said that, his ability to rotate, not only his ability to rotate, his ability to pay the passing lanes and get steals. Because tonight, the only person that we really had that's inept with that is Mikal. You feel me? And you can't tell Mikal to be the point of defense and still, play the passing lanes and do all the other things. That's a lot of tall tale to do for anybody. But yeah, OG was missed tonight for sure. Last question on the game, and then we're gonna move on. Is this not worried loss or we gotta fix this ASAP loss? I forgot who started last. My bad, y'all.
It doesn't matter. I think it's just it's part of the season. We're not going to win them all. It was a tough game. Boston came to play. Boston came to to handle business. They defended their home court. We all know the Knicks struggled tremendously on the road. They're 3-6, on the year, and they need to remedy that. But is it like one of those moments where, we got to panic? Nah, I don't think so. We're coming in hot still. Winners of 4 of the last 5. We're going into Charlotte tomorrow, and that's going to be another opponent that's going to be is going to be gearing up for us, and we'll be ready for them.
Sis,
I don't think it's anything we need to panic about. I think we saw the same stuff that we've been seeing, right? Like lack of consistency, lack of defense behind the 3-point line. I mean, the same thing we've been saying they need to work on is exactly what we saw tonight. On the bright side, at the end, we did see some fight, which in previous games we didn't see. When we were down by big numbers in other games against other teams, we just kind of bowed out. And today we didn't just bow out, which I like to see. Because even if we're gonna lose, put up a fight. Like we don't go out like suckers. So no, not a need to panic. I said it last game, they were gonna come for blood because we took them out earlier in the season. We just got a rebound. We got a game tomorrow, and we need to take our anger out on them.
Look who's here. Look who just arrived.
The boys police.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Uncle Paulie. But yeah, I don't think this is a we should worry loss. I think this is part of the 82 game season. Just another loss. It just sucks kind of the way that we lost, but it's nothing to be too alarmed about. It's something I did forget to mention earlier. How the hell do we allow Deuce McBride to make 3 threes in the first quarter and then only shoot 6 shots for the game? That shit makes absolutely no sense to me, right? Absolutely no sense. You mean to tell me this guy made? I was still awake for those 3 shots for sure. I said, Deuce about to have one of them games. And you talk about the kid has actually absolutely been on fire since he's been inserted to the starting lineup, but only gets 6 shots tonight. That's nasty. That's nasty. In that part, I blame on the coach because you got to draw up something to keep Deuce going. You feel me? Like if the guys notice, when the last time Deuce shot? Oh yeah, now we running this next play for Deuce. He made 3 3-pointers in the first quarter. You know what I mean? But yeah. I don't want to get too much into that because that was just nasty. I just had to bring that up because that was nasty work. But yeah, I'm not worried. Like I said,
just to go back to what you just said, I haven't seen this coach draw up a goddamn play yet. Not one.
Yeah, it's like
they playing street ball. They on their own.
So some teams still do run like actual plays, right? But from what I'm seeing, most of them
Boston does.
Huh?
Boston does.
Yeah, because they don't have no talent on that team. They have to.
They were doing it with talent. They were doing it all the way to the title.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is most team run sets and concepts, right? So what we do, we run sets, right? We got the, you know how we start off with we get half court, the handoff pick and roll thing that we like to do. Now we got like one where we do like 3, 4 of them to start the play, and then we run action off of that. That's not really a play. You feel me? It's more of a set that we run, and then we figure out what happens off of there. I really don't like it. I think that there's times where like, hey, we need a play for this guy because this guy is is hot. We need to get him a good look. Or hey, we need to run this play for this guy because we need to get this guy going. And I don't see enough of that. I think it's a lot of spur of the moment stuff. But
or just a play coming out of a timeout to switch momentum, and we're not seeing that.
Yeah. That's one thing.
Because when you think about like when Thibodeau was the coach and he called timeout off of the other team going on a run, the Knicks always, what happened to Knickerbocker?
I don't know. Oh, there you go.
The Knicks executed a play and it kind of like flipped the switch. I'm not even gonna get into this coaching because I can't stand it, but I'm annoyed with it.
Yeah, you know what annoys me about when shit start going bad and the camera goes on his face
and he's smiling.
No, he looks puzzled. Like he looks puzzled, and I don't like it. Tibbs be pissed off. I could deal with that. I could deal with my coach looking pissed off when shit going wrong because he's supposed to be pissed off. What I cannot deal with is that look of, oh shit.
That's exactly what my sentiment is. But like, I'm not going to get into a rant about it because if I do, I'm only 20 games in, and I don't want to start saying, Mike Brown, we got some issues that we need to discuss. But they're there.
We do have some issues.
But they're there. They're there. But again, it's only been 20 games. And I know this is like the first real true assessment period, but it's like,
you know, but with that being said, right, there's still a lot of good. You feel me? I'm not going to ignore the good. There's some bad for sure. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the offense is moving more freely. Like everybody can agree to that. Defensively, we are shaky. We have our times where, we do defend, but even the last year with Tibbs, the defense wasn't the greatest. You feel me? We locked down when we needed to for sure, but like throughout the season, the defense wasn't the greatest. So there are good, there are bad. Yeah, I mean, it just annoys the fuck out of me when I would look over when things are not going well, and he just looks confused. That's just me.
I think what it is with Mike Brown is that he has a much more lock in terms of management of the flow of offense, which we're all enjoying that part. Shot selection, of course, is up to the player. However, I think that the fact that the defense isn't really been picking up in terms of picking up the walk up threes, which is hard to defend. I understand that, but the switching is kind of still, it's basic, it's rudimentary. It's like we need something different. And I think that they need to figure out how to apply the appropriate amount of pressure, whether in the open court or in the half court set. They need to figure out how to apply the right amount of pressure so that way you can. And I mean, you can see it in certain games. In that Charlotte game, you saw it. You saw it in Toronto. You saw it. When we played the other teams like Minnesota or something like that, you saw that there was some applied pressure on the defensive end in the open court or in the half court set. I'm not seeing that consistently. And against a team like Boston that loves to shoot threes, that loves to get up and down the open court, that that scores a lot on turnovers, you got to be able to I'm gonna quote Fraz on this. That transition defense is becoming more and more of a big gaping hole in terms of that chink in the armor of the New York Knicks, and it's bothering me because we can't continue to embody that that defensive identity that we once had. I mean, we remember those, the good old days where defense was identity. Right now, it's not.
And the crazy part is, when you watch the first quarter, you could see how this team could be really good defensively. Because in the first quarter, they were swarming. Like, they were swarming in the first quarter defensively. But throughout the game, it kind of crumbled, right? And it crumbles with this, right? Golden State does a great job of hiding Steph defensively. They do a great job of hiding Steph defensively and giving him all the support he needs defensively. Of course, he get caught on the island from time to time and has to try to defend, but for the most part, you rarely see it happening, right? And what teams do, they hunt Jalen Brunson, and not because of lack of effort, but he's just undersized and not that great of a defender. So they're hunting him, and there's no counter to that. Like, in the fourth, we tried to do the right thing, but the coaches got to coach Jalen Brunson up to how to handle that situation properly, because it still seems like he doesn't understand the concept of, hedging the ball handler until the primary defender gets back into play, then you get out of there. Like, his timing with that is off. He needs to be coached up in that regard to figure out how to do that, because that's one way to remedy that, because they're putting him in high pick and rolls, and then they're attacking JB and getting their stars easy buckets and getting their stars in the rhythm. Now, the idea of what we did in the fourth quarter is what we should be doing with Jalen Brunson, right?
The pause police.
Here you go. You go crazy. But yeah, the idea is what we should be doing to try to hide JB. It's just, it's not being done properly. I don't think it's being practiced and coached the way that it should be done. It's like, all right, here's the theory. We're going to do this because this is what they're doing now, so we're going to do this. But you have to actually put it into practice at practice for JB to get comfortable doing it in a game, right? And I think if we do that for JB, it'll run seamlessly, because especially when OG get back, we got two guys that can fight over screens and get back to their man with the best of them. You know what I mean? And we just got to get there. But, we got to move on.
Sis, I'm with you. That was some sucker shit in a regular season game.
Yeah,
I don't fault them for that, though. I mean, if it works, it works.
It's a gay-ass strategy.
The
regular season.
It can be homo to a fucking 11, but at that point, if it works, it works. A win is a win.
Nah, it was a regular season game. Joe Mazzulla is a herb for that, for sure. He's a herb.
No doubt. No argument here. But if it works, it works. Shit. But I'm sure Phil Jackson used to say the same shit, when he's sipping, when he's puffing on his peyote and drinking all that other crazy shit, when he was in Los Angeles and he was seeing Shaq getting hacked up to death. I'm sure he remembers that.
Well, but Knickerbocker, let's be honest. There's a big difference between 30 points per game Shaq and Mitchell Robinson. It's a big difference.
No doubt. But the point is that put your worst free throw shooter and hack him to death. That's if it works, it works.
But that kind of was the theory behind hacking Shaq, but it really wasn't. It was more of, we're going to stop Shaq from scoring. It wasn't because he was the worst free. It was because he can't shoot free throws, but it's mostly because if we don't foul him, he's going to score. And we can't do nothing. He's going to score. If he gets the ball, he's going to score. So that was the theory behind hacking Shaq, right? But I get it. I get it. I understand it too. Like, but I still think it's corny. I get it. I get and it's a regular season game, homie. Like, but in a pregame, they said, I can't remember who said it. They said they're gonna treat this like their Super Bowl, especially since the way they lost to us last year in the playoffs. They lost to us once already in the season. They're gonna treat this game like their Super Bowl. And Missoula did that. He showed that from the rip. Like, yo, we're gonna foul this guy. We're gonna foul this guy. And it's also up to Mitch to get better at shooting free throws. Yo, bro, you know the hey, give me the
That's
cam.
true.
Give me the center cam because I need to talk to Mitch real quick. Yeah, I mean,
Shit.
I need to talk to Mitch. Yo, Mitch, you know you my guy, homegrown. We love you here. We love what you do for the team, but I'm going to tell you something. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Shooting a line drive free throw is never going to work for you. It's never going to work for you. You're never going to get the results shooting the ball with no type of arc. It's never going to work in your favor. I don't care how much you practice it and you go 8 for 10 at practice. In real practical basketball, it is not going to work for you. So if you just refuse, if you refuse to put an arc on your free throw shot, hit it off the backboard because you have the shots going straight. Pause, because Uncle Paulie in there and he going crazy. You have your free throws going straight in a line. They're bouncing off back rim every time. Because why? There's no arc. So if you refuse to put some arc on your shot, aim for the backboard, the box, bank them in. I guarantee you, if you did that with the way you shoot, right? I can guarantee you, Mitch, if you did that with the way you shoot, you would go from being a 50% free throw shooter to mid-70s, almost 80%. I promise you. And that's the end. That's the end of that. You know what I mean? I guarantee results. The way Mitch shoots, that line drive style, he will go from 50% to mid-70s with ease, with banking in his free throws.
I always wondered. I'm guessing that it's like almost frowned upon if you did that. I remember like, all right, so I remember the one time it's ever been mentioned. That was in 1995. Don Nelson got on Charlie Ward for banking in foul shots at a post game. And when I heard that, I'm like, if it works, what's the matter? But of course, he worked on it, and he went on the rest of his career doing the same thing. But I always wondered, why can't you? The backboard is there for a reason. Why don't you use it?
So you mean to tell me, right? You guys are going to foul me, right? To put me on the free throw line, knowing that I'm poor at shooting free throws. But I do something to balance the scales and to make these actual free throws. And I'm the asshole? No. Listen, fuck those guys. Mitch, fuck those guys. Bank those free throws. Bank them. I'm telling you, Mitch. They're going to be laughing, but they're going to stop fouling you. Shout out to my guy, JJ Jackson, in the chat. You already know that's my guy. Yeah, I promise you, it's going to be different. But, again, moving on. Because we posted have been moved on. We're way behind schedule. So.
Hold on. We're waiting on a judge's ruling on something. I'm not even sure what he's referencing, but the Pulse Police is hard at work today. I already paid my fine. All right.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I paid my fine, Uncle Paulie. All right. I paid my fine. I did my time.
So I'm pretty sure whatever he said I did, I said pause for, so I ain't even worried about it. But moving on, even though he had a rough night tonight, Jalen Brunson was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. You know, I think he was average somewhere like 28.7 points a game. Let's just round it up to 29. 7 assists, shooting like over 50% from the field, doing what the captain does. I kind of know the answer to this. I'm gonna ask anyway. But does winning Eastern Conference Player of the Week changes anything about how teams defend Jalen Brunson going forward? I forgot who answered the last one first, but yeah. Sis.
And it's actually 28.8 points. So let's round it up to 29.
Yeah.
Does it change how teams defend him? No. They're gonna still do what they've been doing. They're gonna put a pressure on him, try and double team him, put a big body on him, pause. And I think he just needs to keep his composure and read the defense. You know what I mean? I think he just needs to read the defense better and get his teammates more involved. That's my only fight with Jalen is I need you to trust your team and dish to them. But no, well deserved. I mean, we were 4-0 in the games last week. And I expect more of this. I mean, who's really fucking with him on the Eastern Conference?
Words of Keith Sweat, nobody, baby. Knickerbocker.
Will it change anything? No. Jalen Brunson has won multiple Player of the Week, Player of the Month. The fact that he hasn't won an MVP award, to me, sometimes is mind-boggling. But then again, when you see who does win the MVP award, you kind of understand it a little bit. But no, nothing. I think that the fact that he's getting recognized is just, kudos to him and kudos to the team, because the more a player does get that kind of recognition, they tend to, feed off of that energy and that momentum. And it's just well-deserved. I mean, there's nobody in the Eastern Conference that can fuck with, Sis said it already. There's nobody who can fuck with him. There's nobody who's on his level. Jaylen Brown, is a great player. You have other guys in the Eastern Conference that are great players. But when you talk about somebody who is Mr. Clutch, a guy who can dominate a fourth quarter by running ISO plays and getting his teammates involved, tell me somebody else in the Eastern Conference. Hell, I challenge anyone in the chat right now. Hit me up with a super chat. Give me who you think is better than Jalen Brunson in the Eastern Conference right now. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Yeah, got to bring it back. Nobody, baby. Shout out to the cat. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, no, it changes nothing. They still going to try to put taller guys to defend him, even though he still managed to get Eastern Conference Player of the Week, scoring 29 points a game on taller defenders. I mean, if y'all think that works, if y'all think that's an effective strategy, be my guest. Because they still getting cooked. But, I think they still going to do that. They still going to try to blitz him and get the ball out of his hands. But look how that worked for who we played, Milwaukee. They tried to blitz him, and guess what happened? And one bucket to kind of seal the game for us. Yeah, I mean, so I guess, right? They're going to do the same thing. JB's still going to cook them. Tonight was an outlier game. You feel me? Like, this is a one in a few. You feel me? This is the 1 out of 9 out of 10. You feel me? It's the 1 out of the 9 out of 10.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, luckily for us, we play tomorrow and we could.
Yeah, and he's going to be he's going to be looking for get back tomorrow. Sure. So now,
who's Charlotte's point guard? I keep on forgetting. Is it still
LaMelo?
Because he's gonna get fucking cooked tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
He has the assignment of having to guard a pissed off Jalen Brunson.
They don't put JB on. They don't put him on JB.
No, I gotta remember who it is.
They put somebody else on. I can't remember who it is, but yeah. So now, is JB officially in perennial All-Star territory now? Knickerbocker.
I say again, tell me who else in the Eastern Conference is better than he is, and I'll wait. I'm here all night. I have nothing else better to do. Wife's not talking to me anyway, so I'll wait.
My fault.
I'll wait. To put it like this, is he a perennial all-star? Absolutely. Is he just put it like this, he's a perennial all-star. He's the captain and the face of the New York Knicks, one of the oldest teams of the NBA and probably one of the most famous ones. When you talk about the great teams we only won 2 titles, I know, and yet we're still talked about like crazy among all media circuits, among all fans, among all old heads. That's how we are. But whatever. And while yes, most Knick fans are delusional, bro, we're also very factual, and we also know our history, and you can't argue with us. You just
that's the Heat fan guy you talking to?
Yeah, because he has nothing else better to do. So I'm gonna be just as
I think he low key is a Knicks fan because he watches.
I think he's a disgruntled Knicks fan. I think what it is that he really is a Knicks fan. He just has nothing else better to do with his since he was since Kev already called him out for crying on his freaking show after the Heat lost. I forgot who they lost, and then I went to go look for it, and I'm like, yeah, he actually did, and I'm like, all right, cool. If you want, dude, I mean, I'll put you in the camera too, so we can all see you cry. I mean, it's all good.
That's mad
we good with this.
That's mad funny. Yeah, we should collab next Heat Knicks game. Word. That is funny. Word. Yeah. Let's collab next Heat.
Oh, and we're liars. Tell me what I lied about. I'll wait.
Hey, listen.
I'm done with him. I'm done with him.
Knickerbocker said he got all night. I ain't got all night. I'm an old man and I like my sleep.
I'm a former Marine. I'm sleep deprivation is part of my training. I can go on all night.
Yeah.
And Bustelo always runs in my house, so we good.
I already know because one day me and Knickerbocker got off camera. We was talking for like almost an hour and some change after the show. I got to go to sleep. Nah, but sis, you answered the question?
No. I mean, absolutely, I think he is. I mean, I think he deserved to be a starting point guard the first year we got him. But I think his brand wasn't big enough, right? Because think about it, the All-Star game is really about your brand and your fan base as a player. And, coming from Dallas to New York, he was just starting that. And now he's the face of New York. He got all kind of commercials, AT&T and Nike, and he's on the NBA commercials and all that good stuff. So he's built his brand. I know living out here in Dallas and talking to Dallas Mavericks fans, they regret the moment they traded him. They still talk about it. It's like they regret him and Luka. They just pissed off. And I'm happy they're pissed off because he's ours forever. So absolutely, he's a perennial all-star starter. I know Knicks fans are going to vote when it's time to vote for him because as he deserves it. But I think he's developed his brand as a player big enough to to run with the big dogs of the NBA. You know what I mean? Like the LaMelos and all them guys.
What's kind of crazy is that JB, he's the kind of player that he would already get his own shoe.
But he doesn't want one.
He doesn't want one. Instead, he's wearing Kobe's, and he's continuing that legacy and that brand. And now, Kobe's widow is, endorsing him and including him. And, now the shoes, even though they're still Kobe's, they're low key JB's. And that's what I find cool. I find
every Knick is playing in Kobe's. That's insane.
That's crazy.
But I will say this, since we're talking about the Kobe's, Vanessa, I need the Statue of Liberties in a kid size, please. I wear kid size. I need them. I have to have them, please. I read that they're not coming out in kid sizes, and that makes me very upset.
Yeah. So his JB perennial all-star territory, obviously, right? Not only is he the best point guard in the East, he's one of the best players in the East. He's one of the best players in the league. Yeah, I mean, like in the whole entire NBA, he's one of the best players in the league. Mr. Can't nobody do nothing with him for sure. Yeah, I mean, can't nobody do nothing with him. If he's having an off night, that's because of him. It's not because of anything you did. It's because of him. We've seen him give everybody buckets, even the ones that people was like, oh, he has a hard time with this guy. No, everybody gets work. And I expect, when the All-Star voting opens up, that JB will be one of the top voted people in the All-Star. You feel me? I think I'll give him probably be one of the top. He's probably either one or two in the East when it comes to voting for All-Star this year. Probably top 5 in the whole entire league in All-Star voting.
Yeah, because it's usually what? It's usually LeBron, Steph, Joker, Shea, maybe Wemby. And then that's about it. And then you start talking about JB. You start talking about Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Paolo, Franz Wagner going to get some votes because he's been playing pretty good.
Joel Embiid probably because,
because
of the brain. It's just whoever's the big name.
Paul George because the kids love him. Yeah, I mean, that's their GOAT. Like along those people. But I think practically JB will be up there 1 or 2 in the East.
And we can't forget Cat. Cat definitely is going to get one too.
Yeah, Bodega for sure. But yeah. Definitely we into that territory with JB. Moving on. Gallinari.
Probably.
Oh yeah, facts. Maxey for sure. Maxey probably be up there with JB too, no lie. Maxey. Gallinari retires from the NBA after I don't know how many seasons, but I 20. Know 20.
He retired from basketball altogether.
Yeah. I guess I forgot how many seasons he played in the NBA, but
like 20 something, isn't it?
But I do, yeah, for sure.
2006, I think it was when he got drafted. 2006, 2008, if I remember correctly.
He got drafted 2008.
There you go.
Oh yeah, so that's a long time. But I do know he played 777 regular season games. Lucky numbers, you feel me? I guess it was Tom. You feel me? 700. Yeah, I like that number. It's a good number. Yeah, I mean, one former Knick. Yeah, I mean, as a Knick, I thought he had a promising future. I was gassed off Gallinari. Well, as a Knick fan, you usually get gassed off everybody.
That's true. That is true.
If they got the orange and blue jersey on, that's says New York Knicks in front of it. You usually get gassed off at everybody, you know. But to the panel, what's the first memory that comes to your mind when you think of Gallinari as a Knick? I forgot who sis. Yeah, sis.
My first memory of him was being pissed off that he was part of that Melo trade. I was pissed off he was part of that Melo trade. Because I knew Melo could have benefited from a shooter like Gallinari. And so I was livid, actually, that he was part of that trade. But on a personal side, outside of what we saw on the court, my ex-husband, he used to work for FedEx in Lower Manhattan. And one day he calls me on FaceTime, and he's with Gallinari, and Gallinari's at a pizzeria in his, on his route. And he's like, oh, my wife is a big Knicks fan. And he like said what's up on the phone. So I thought that was pretty dope. But on the court, I forget what year it was, but I believe there was a game with him and Tony Douglas against the Bulls, and they went absolutely apeshit in that game. And that's a good memory I had of him on the court. He was a dog, a silent dog. Like, he didn't really like have a big bark, but his game spoke for itself. I mean, shit, we could use a player like him right now. I'm just saying.
Sis, the only thing I beg to differ on, I was not mad when Gallinari is part of that Melo trade.
No.
Because it was Melo.
No, I know it was Melo, but, giving away huge parts that could have benefited.
No.
Melo could have benefited from.
I'm mad at the trade as a whole, right? Yeah. I think Don Nelson, his idea was, we're going to give Gallinari for Melo. It's going to be a player-for-player swap, and that's it.
If I remember correctly, it was Donnie Walsh.
Donnie Walsh, yeah, my fault.
And Donnie Walsh was initially offered Denver Wilson Chandler and one other person and a draft pick for Melo. And Denver did not want to do that because Denver was looking for cap relief and all kinds of and a shitload of draft picks. And I remember when they were talking to Brooklyn, New Jersey at the time, and New Jersey was going to offer them like 4 picks or something like that. And then Mikhail Prokhorov at the time, he was the owner. He opened his mouth, says that, oh, we're not doing anything else. So it became only the Knicks. Until the last moment, like All-Star Weekend. Oh, the Nets are back in play, but we ended up becoming a Knick. But so it's crazy.
I know for a fact it wasn't Wilson Chandler.
It had to have been because he played the same position as Melo.
Wilson Chandler played the 2. Melo played the 3. Yeah. It wasn't Wilson Chandler. It was definitely Gallinari because Gallinari and Melo played the exact same position. You know what I mean? Gallinari's playing the 3 at the time. It might have been another player for sure, but I know it wasn't Wilson Chandler. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, end up being all of them.
It ended up being both Chandler and fucking Gallinari and
everybody else.
And
Felton and the whole rest of the team.
4 Pistons starting 5 minus Stoudemire.
Yeah. But anyway, Knickerbocker Ave, the first memory that comes to your mind when it comes to Gallinari as a Knick.
I remember that was like one of the first. It was a continuation of the Boo Birds during draft night when we drafted them. I think after that Steph Curry, whiffing on that, every draft pick that we've had has been a Boo Bird. For maybe I think Tim Hardaway Jr. was probably the only one that we didn't boo them. We actually were like, finally something that actually made sense.
You did it.
from the fond memories I've had about Danilo Gallinari is that before Amari Stoudemire came in, before that 2010-2011 season, he was developing and he was really starting to kind of embody the city in terms of its heart and in terms of really getting, especially the Italians, because Italians in New York, and they were loving every bit of it, and every pizzeria had a Gallinari jersey hanging. I remember that. But I congratulate him. I honor him for for his contributions to the game in his entirety. Of course, his contributions as a New York Knick, and the first memory is him getting booed and mercilessly. I thought the Porzingis one was worse, and when I try to hear it both side by side, Gallinari had it bad, and he ended up becoming such a key component to those young Knick teams prior to Amari and Melo coming here.
Yeah, my first memory is being a part of the Boo Birds. Who the fuck is this guy? That's exactly Gallinari. Who the fuck is this guy? And then I got people telling me, nah, he's good. He's good. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Y'all telling me he's good. I don't believe it. Why did we draft this foreigner? And this is like, this is before every foreigner that you draft now is good. Like now it seems like
that's throw like the Frederick Weiss days.
Yeah, like you throw a fishing rod across the ocean and you pulling back damn near all-star every year now. But so I was like, yo, who is this guy? But shout out to him because he made me a fan of his. You feel me? Wasn't the greatest defender. But he tried.
He gave effort.
He gave effort. But that boy could shoot that rock for sure. And you definitely appreciate it for that, right? Last question on this before we have to move on. Do you feel like injuries robbed him of becoming a bigger star? Sis.
I don't know if injuries robbed him as more than like the game kind of changed a little bit. And I don't know that his game developed with the game, with the change of the game. Definitely if he would have stayed healthy, it probably would have had a bigger impact. But I just think the game changed while he was in the NBA.
Oh, Knickerbocker.
Did injuries really rob him of superstardom? No, I think that it's just the bad turns of his career, being part of that Melo trade, even though he started to develop into, somewhat of a force in Denver. But then after that, too much player movement, too much inconsistency, too much of him getting lost in trades, shuffles, free agency, whatever, and injuries. That all played a part in it. To be honest, I don't think that he would have been that big of a star. I'm in terms of international star. I'm not to like the levels of a Luka or a Joker or anything like that. He could have made himself, an all-star. He could have been, maybe a two or three time all-star. He could have probably, been, something along those lines. But to be for anyone to say that he would have been like an international, cornerstone, I don't think. I think that's that's too much of a stretch there.
I think injuries did absolutely rob him to some extent. People forget, like, at like before the trade and like right after the trade, how really good Gallinari was, and he was still super young. It was still so much room for him to grow. To Knickerbocker's point, he did get traded a lot and stuff like that, but I also think that's because of the injuries. He couldn't stay healthy. And then he kept on getting lost in the shuffle, then coming off the bench behind teams that were making, championship runs and things like that and continue to get injured. I'm not saying that he would have been Luka or Jokic. I'm not saying that at all. But I do agree with Knickerbocker that he would have definitely made at least one or two All-Star games if he could have stayed healthy and continued on that trajectory that he was on. But injuries hamper people all the time. You feel me? And he's just another one in that category. But he still managed to etch out a good career. I also agree with Sis that the game did change on him. Gallinari grew up in that isolation basketball era. And the game just started to change away from that. And he found a niche that worked for him and also worked for his body. He became more of a specialist. Give me the ball, I'm going to shoot this three-pointer. If you need me, I'm right here. Like this, waiting. But yeah, shout out to Gallinari. Thank you for being a Knick. Thank you for helping us get mellow. You know what I mean? The biggest contribution to being a Knick. You know what I mean? Being available to be traded. But you did give us some good times, some good memories. You won a few games for me. Yeah, I mean, I'd have many a night jumping up and down in the living room because of your contributions to the Knicks and, some regular season victories. You feel me? But again, moving right along because we're way behind schedule. So,
in other words, we're past our bedtime.
For sure, past the bedtime. The Knicks lead the NBA with 9 40-point quarters.
Actually, it's 10 because our fourth quarter today we have 41.
Shit. 10 40-point quarters. Yeah, I mean, that is some hellified offense. You feel me? So what does this stat tell you? Elite offense or hot shooting stretches? I don't know who went last. I'm tired.
Go ahead, Mr.
So what? I'm sorry. What was the question? What does it mean?
What does the stat tell you? Elite offense or just hot shooting stretches?
Oh, it's clearly hot shooting stretches. It's not the elite offense because elite offense is consistent, and elite offense you need to put it together for 4 quarters and 48 minutes in one game. And if you're not doing that on a consistent level, it's not. You can't rest your laurels on saying, "Hey, the offense is clicking." All right, so you can put down a good period. Obviously, in tonight's game, it was quite evident. First quarter, we were up by 13. By the second quarter, lead dissolved, and we were down 5 or 7 by halftime. We were down by as many as 18, and then we ended up losing by 5. So 10 40-point quarters, great, that's nice. Can you do that for 4 straight quarters, or could you maintain that level of intensity and that effort for 48 minutes? That's more important to me, because you can win all the quarters you want. You can win 2 of them in a row, great. But if you're not putting that consistently for 4 straight quarters in one game on a consistent basis, that stat is pretty much don't give a shit.
This.
I think to me that stat means potential. Like the potential of what this team and this offense can do. Again, like Knickerbocker said, we haven't yet to put it in play consistently, and that's the issue, and that's the reason why we're losing games. But when you look at it in those 40-point quarters, the offense is flowing, the ball is moving, it's not sticking, nobody's trying to play ISO, and for some reason, I don't know what the reason is, we then go back to what we're used to, JB taking the ball into the paint, holding it a little longer, or even shots not going down. I don't think it's something that can be kept up, though, because we're going to tire out scoring 40 points in multiple quarters in a game. You know what I mean? Throughout an 82-game season. So, I mean, it's super dope because it shows the potential of the offense and what our guys are capable of, but we need to translate those quarters into wins.
I believe it's elite offense. And I'm going to tell you why. I think when you're 20 games in, 10 40-point quarters in 20 games, it's kind of outrageous when you think about it. Kind of outrageous. Yes, do we go through our ebbs and flows throughout a game, but I also think that's growing pains still. Most of these guys played a whole different style of basketball in a New York Knicks jersey for the last 3 years, because mostly everybody except for Mitch been there like 4 years, right? So it still takes some getting used to, but game by game basis, you see them becoming more consistent with the ball movement, with the pace of play, and things of that nature. I think this is not fluke. I don't think this is just a few of the fact that it's 10 of them. It's 10 of them in a 20 games span. I would be inclined to agree more with Knickerbocker if it was like maybe 4 or 5 in this. Yeah, I can consider that being, coincidental. But 10 in 20 games, that's a hellified number, man. I don't think that's coincidence. I think that is by design. It's just the team finding the balance to do that more consistently is the issue. You feel me? I think the offense has a theory and how they want to work. It's just them finding a way to do that consistently. And I think that's going to come more with time. I don't think that we're going to score 40 points every quarter of every game, but I think we can find more consistent offense. And that's only talking about the 40-point quarters. There's a lot of 30-point quarters in between there. You feel me? A whole lot of 30-point quarters. It's just we have those few quarters where, like Mrs. Nick said, we go back to doing the things that help us lose games, like watching JB score. Yeah, I mean?
Yeah, because you're figuring we've played 80 periods. That's not counting any overtimes. I don't think we have any overtime victories or games thus far.
Yeah, we have. We had
right.
like 2 overtimes.
All right, so we'll say 82 periods of basketball, and 10 of them we scored 40 or more. Great. What is our record? We're 13-7. When we should be probably 16-4, 17-3. But unfortunately, it's not consistent enough. And I think, and that's the part where I'm kind of like, okay, great. Do it more frequently, because that statistic, although impressive, it's just a statistic until it registers and converts into victories.
No, I get what you're saying, but that also has to do with the defense. You feel me? Like, that's just not all about the offense. We've played some shitty defense in some of these games that we lost.
In all of the games, every one of them.
Yeah. I mean, but I get what you're saying, and you're right in some part. Yeah, I mean, like, because there's games that we have lost because the offense has stalled. Yeah, I mean, but quite a few of those games we lost because the defense has been atrocious. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, because like even still, right? Even the best offensive teams in the league are not giving you 10, 40-point quarters.
No, I think they said the closest to us, it was 3 other teams, and they were at 6.
That's what I'm saying. That's not an accident. You know what I mean? It's not an accident. But I get what you're saying. but you also got to count in the fact that some really shitty defense that happened in that time too. Yeah. All right. Last topic of the night. I've been waiting for this because it's needed. I need my boy back on the court. So the report came out that, OG's target date is December 7th. That's the target date. That doesn't mean he's coming back on that date. That's just when they hoping that he'll be back. You feel me? We miss OG on both ends of the court, his offense and his defense. I know that we just came off a 4-game winning streak, but games like tonight typify why OG needs to be on the court. So the question to the panel was this: what is the first thing OG fixes the minute he's back in the lineup? Sis, I think it's your go.
Well, for one, I'm super happy he'll be back. I hope it is the 7th because that is the Magic game, and we're definitely going to need him. So I'm going to pray to the basketball gods for the 7th. The first thing he changes is he relieves Mikal. I mean, the pressure has been on Mikal to do everything defensively. Mikal has been having to cover the weaknesses of Cat and JB. So, having that second guy there to help Mikal would be great. And let's not forget, OG put up points in the games he played this season. So offensively, it should also help us some more. And then, I guess the question then would be who goes to the bench. And I mean, that's a good problem to have, but
Dylan, all my next two questions off the rip is crazy.
But no, I mean, we definitely need him. I mean, these last 2 weeks have felt like a month. It's been tough. But yeah, I think, having two defensive guys on the court at once is something that a lot of teams don't have and that we benefit from. And so hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he stays healthy. And we move on forward.
Knickerbocker.
OG Anunoby is going to fix a lot of the issues that we've been seeing definitely in Knick losses. And Sis hit it on again. She steals a little bit of my thunder. He averages almost 16 points a game. He averages about 6 rebounds a night. He also averages almost 2 steals and 4 assists every night. So on the offensive end, it'll be, I'm not expecting him to light up the scoreboard or anything like that, but I'm expecting for that to be a huge component of what happens, on how we improve. And frankly, defensively, we already know that we don't really need to touch too much about that anymore because we know OG Anunoby is a stopper. That's his job. That's what he's known for. And you put him, and reform Wingstop 2.0, and it's going to the Knicks are going to be in a lot more games, especially games where they're not having it. They're not having the ball drop, in their favor. They're going to have much more better opportunities to come with defensive stops and probably win a couple of those low scoring games. And it'll be benefit from us because we definitely need them. We need some catch up on the standings because where we're sitting right now, we're better than everybody who's ahead of us, in my opinion.
For sure.
I think the first thing OG fixes is matchup issues. As good as a defender Mikal is, sometimes I won't say like tonight, but tonight it could have been a problem, but it really wasn't it started becoming a problem once he got hot. But like a player like, Jalen Brown, who's more physically imposing, right? Like strong, could get downhill, could move you off your spot. OG fits that better. Like he is able to guard the more bruiser of the perimeter players, while Mikal, he can do it. He just it's
Skinny.
just he's just he's wiry. He's wiry. You know what I mean? So I think that's one thing that he'll help fix, and also continue to get our depth back. Depth, right? Yeah. I always have a problem saying that. You know what I mean? A difficult word for your boy. But yeah, so he helps get some of that back, because now somebody who once was on our bench, who is now starting, has to go back to the bench. And depth, that's not a pause, Paulie. You gotta relax, bro. That's not a pause, bro. You gotta relax. But yeah. So that helps a lot in those two regards, but yeah, we need him back. And the last question is, who goes back to the bench? Is it Deuce or is it Josh? They both been playing amazing in starting role. But who goes back to the bench? I think it's Knickerbocker half turn. He don't look too thrilled about having to ask this question, or did he freeze?
I think he froze. He said his laptop was dying.
Oh man, I think he might have.
Yeah, he froze.
Well, sis, it's your turn.
Ooh. I don't know. I really don't know, because they both have been playing so good, specifically in the first quarter. So I'm torn. If I had to go with one, I'm gonna say Deuce goes back to the bench.
I respect it.
I think Deuce.
Oh, there you go. He's back. He's back.
He on his phone now.
Can't get rid of me that easy. What's the question?
Wait, sisters, you done?
Yeah, because I'm unsure. I don't. It sucks. It's tough because when guys are hot early on, you want to keep that going. I'm gonna say Deuce goes back to the bench. I think I would be okay with seeing a Kolek, Deuce, Clarkson trio with the second unit.
Yeah. So Knickerbocker, the question is, with OG's return, who goes back to the bench, Deuce or Josh?
Well, I think that early on, you're not going to see very much change in terms of that. You're not going to get maybe Josh Hart's minutes gets reduced a little bit. Maybe Deuce McBride's minutes get reduced a little bit. But I kind of feel worried a little bit with OG coming back, is that what happens with Landry Shamet when he comes back? And is there a spot for his team? Because where are these minutes going to come from? Maybe you'll start seeing the utilization of the bench, like Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele, a little bit less. But I see that. I see a lot of matchups where Mike Brown is going to continue to utilize the starters, especially with OG, as he starts getting reacclimated, because that injury, the hamstring injury, is tricky. It's always that way. But honestly, maybe you'll start seeing Deuce and Josh Hart's minutes get reduced slightly. But Landry Shamet is probably when he comes back, that's when I really wonder. I really wonder, how are you going to acclimate him? So with OG coming back, I'm not really too concerned about that.
But who goes to the bench? Because OG's still gonna start.
More than likely Josh Hart. You're you're gonna want to you're gonna want to have size. So you know you're gonna keep JB starting, obviously. Mikal is starting. Then Cat's starting, the 4 or the 5. Because we don't know what they're going to do with Mitch. It's for some reason it seems like they're playing him less and less these days. So unless you're playing the 2 big man lineup, you obviously are going to put OG at either the 3 or the 4, depending on the opponent, and you're going to see Josh Hart go to the bench.
I agree with that. I think Josh goes to the bench. I think JB and Brunson played tremendously well together. Josh is a good defender. I think Deuce is a better defender and a better shooter. You know what I mean? And he helps spread the floor a little bit more. Deuce could pick up full court. I think Josh goes to the bench. I don't think you see a reduction in minutes like crazy because I think Tyler is probably going to lose his minutes when he comes back. So I don't think you see a major reduction in minutes for Josh. I just think he's coming back off the bench. I think Deuce stays because what he does for spreading the floor and what he does defensively in the backcourt. I don't like Josh starting in the 3. Josh can't play the 2. I don't like Josh at the 2. Josh is a small 3, right? He's a small 3. And I don't like him. Like I don't like him being paused because I think Mitch is coming off the bench for the rest of the season. Just my personal opinion.
Until the playoffs.
I don't think he starts. I don't think Mike Brown likes the way he looks with the starters. I'm personally not really a fan of it yet. I think Mitch might actually have hurt himself again because he looks hella slow to react defensively. You know what I mean? So that might be a thing. But from what I'm gauging and what I'm seeing, he's not looking good with the starters as well as we expected him to. Yeah, I mean, I think he's playing better coming off the bench. And he's having a major impact in the limited minutes that he's having. Like his rebound numbers for the time that he's on the court is fucking ridiculous. You feel me? But anyway, I think and Cat plays better at the 5. That's just a fact. Cat plays better at the 5.
And he's playing more like a 5 lately too.
Exactly. Facts. So I don't want to see a lot. I would hate to see a lineup of Cat at the 5, OG at the 4, Josh at the 3.
Basically, last year's starting lineup. You don't want to see that.
At the 2 and
JB at the 1.
Yeah,
that's last year's starting lineup. You don't want it again.
Yeah, I don't like that. I feel much more comfortable. Cat 5, OG 4, Mikal 3, Deuce 2, JB at the 1. I think that's a better defensive lineup. I think the way that Cat rebounds, he rebounds well enough for the whole lot of them. Cat averages about 12 rebounds a game on his lonely. You feel me? So I don't think we lose too much there. I think we've become better as a gang rebounding team. You've seen JB, Deuce, Mikal, and OG chipping a little bit together. You know what I mean? To make up some of what we missed by having another big man. They don't have big rebounding numbers, but they do enough together to make it make sense, right? So I think that lineup, to me, especially how versatile they could be defensively. Yeah, I mean, again, not shitting on Josh Hart defense. He's a really good defender. I just think Deuce is better. Yeah, I mean, and a better shooter. It just makes more sense to me. And that's it for me. Y'all got anything else? If y'all ain't got nothing else, I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up. Pause.
I'm just gonna quote Sis tomorrow against Charlotte. Belt to ass.
Must.
Oh shit. Here we go. He struggled. He struggled. He may have pulled the pelvis.
I'm fat. Belt the ass. Charlotte, we took a loss tonight.
JB
Belt
ain't
the
play
ass.
good. Belt the ass.
All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody that pulled up tonight. If you didn't do so already, make sure you hit that like button. You know what I mean? Sharing is always caring. Make sure you subscribe. Turn the notification bell to all so you get notified every time we do a post-game live. Make sure you visit the Shopify, cop you some merch. Yeah, I mean, I think
It's
I
about
might
that time.
add some items for tomorrow to the Shopify. Yeah, I mean, some new Knicks-ish heat. Yeah, I mean, we gonna find a way that we could get it up on camera so y'all could see. You know what I mean, during the live what the new additions is. You know what I mean, and see what we have on the website. You heard? But yeah, did I
And
forget
all you
anything?
other shows, stop copying our shit. We came up with belt to ass.
You know, it is what it is, man. Yeah, I'm used to it. I'm used to it. Stealing is
You
what
already know the vibes, man. You already know the vibe, Brady.
just keep watching. That's all. You know what I mean? If you're watching, make sure you just, drop a comment and a like. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you already subscribed, but yeah, just comment and like. You know what I mean? You ain't even gotta share it because you don't want anybody to know where you got the source from. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? But we out of here. Somebody gotta do it.
Hit that outro.